actually this morning. This morning I went live with Nomalanga Mushali Moses from Botswana. And we were, and also earlier this week, a young brother you might know about by the name of David Banner was on here, and who has a lot of respect for you as well. And what we were discussing all week had to do with, what codes of conduct as a community should we implement in order to strengthen ourselves. If you think about a football team that wants to score touchdowns, all the players have to have a code of conduct so they can know what the offensive scheme looks like and how you're going to score your points. So for Black people, it almost seems like sometimes we might fall short of that code of conduct due to what you refer to as inappropriate behavior. Now, some of the examples you mentioned, and then I'll let you talk, but I'll mention this. You mentioned collusion with the competition. You mentioned social etiquette issues, avoiding Blackness, believing that the white man's ice is colder, and not having a plan for empowerment. Can you kind of speak to just sort of a beginner's manual on where we might begin in terms of, putting together strict codes of conduct for ourselves that will help us to become as strong as those who sought to oppress us?
Right. Well, the first thing we do is understand that we've been pre-programmed to be against ourselves and to work and to carry everybody else's water on earth except our own. That's why all these candidates now, Black candidates that are filing to run for office, whether it's at the local level, state level, federal level, they're all carrying the water for anybody else but Black folk. They're going to carry the water for any ethnic group, racial group, gender group, or a political party, but nothing for Black folk. They've been taught and brainwashed to carry the water for everybody except Black folk, because that was against the Black codes that were set up and the slave codes that were set up in history. As I said, the slave codes in 1705 says that Black folk could never do anything to the benefit Black folk. In 1710, when they set up the meritorious manumission, they said we will reward you and compensate you and elevate you if you do 3 or 4 things, which I mentioned to you before, that would aid economically, politically, white folk. But it wouldn't do anything but to maintain the status quo on Blacks. And also, I told you, after 1870, they had another code of etiquette came out after slavery ended. It was called a Code of Etiquette in 1870. It says that if you Black folk started running for public office or get a job in a public position, there are certain things you cannot do. You cannot place any attention on either on Black issues or on group-based issues, or try to hold white folks accountable for what they've done to you and how they mistreated you for 360 years. They set that code of conduct. That was called the Code of Conduct for Inappropriate Behavior. They said you're supposed to act against yourselves. You're supposed to pretend like you're standing in front of a mirror and looking in that mirror, and you're going to start, you look at that mirror and see, when you see your own image, but see it in reverse and do things in reverse. If you stand in front of an image in a mirror right now, Dr. Watkins, and you raise your right hand and you say, and you've been taught to see things through the eyes of whites, guess what that mirror will reflect to you? You'll be, in fact, raising your left hand in the mirror. Blacks were taught and educated to see, and not semi-educated, to see everything upside down and backwards. And we found in master's degree program in psychological human behaviors, what we call psychological, physiological manipulation, is that we can teach people to see things that live upside down. We found out through experiments, in deprogramming, brainwashing, and from our people coming out of Korea. I can take a pair of glasses right now, and I can paint images on them upside down. I can take your glasses and paint the images upside down of anything I want. And guess what? After a short while, to make you wear those glasses, you know what your body and your mind would do? It'll reverse them to where you'll learn how to live with seeing things upside down and backwards. And that's how Black folk been taught, to have no interest in their own people, to do anything that's counterposed. That's why if you want to do any shooting and killing, if white folk have taught you that Black folk ain't worth a quarter, and then white folks don't have any problem with killing a Black person, either like every police is shoot one every other week or two, then you have no respect and appreciation for Black folk, because you're looking through those same glasses, even though they're upside down and backwards. That is inappropriate behavior.